VTubers, online entertainers that over the years have taken over the internet, as well as baseball apparently. One of the first that coined the VTuber title was xmiyakiix, who debuted in 2016 and since then has inspired many new VTubers, both working independent or working under talent agencies. And today I'll be playing a bunch of games based on them. I don't know what else to say here. So in the last video I made, I checked out a VTuber game called Flare Nui Nui Quest, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. For those who haven't seen that video, the game was pretty much a Mega Man Classic clone that featured many of the talents from the VTuber agency Hololive. For those who don't even know what a Hololive is a VTubing agency founded in 2019 that is owned by the Japanese company Cover Corp, which at the time of me making this video, it is currently the most popular VTubing agency in the world. The games we will be focusing on today are games published by Holo Indie, which is a publishing brand owned by Cover Corp that puts out games made by the fans using the Hololive IP. Now I just want to make a quick disclaimer before I start playing these games that I am definitely not into the lore or memes of Hololive stuff, so a lot of references in these games are just gonna slide off the top of my head, so yeah. So with that out of the way, let us start off with our first game, which is... Whoa, Coroner Box. This game is a top-down shooter featuring Inugami Coroner, who is one of the members of the VTuber group Hololive Gamers. Now how you can tell she's a true gamer is by the fact that she's terrified of soap. There are 3 maps we can choose from, which are the bread box, the pepper box, and finally, the orange box. The game revolves around you collecting as many boxes as you can, while also defending yourself against a variety of different enemies. Each time that you collect a box, though, your weapon gets switched out, making you constantly change up how you play, depending on what weapon you end up getting. After you have collected enough boxes, you will then have to fight one of the various bosses to progress. So yeah, as you can see, pretty simple gameplay. As you continue playing the game, you eventually gain access to new weapons. Some of them you can unlock by the total amount of boxes you have collected throughout the game, while some require you to reach a certain high score. The game, however, can be a little bit difficult as it only takes 1 hit for you to get a game over, and unlike other top-down shooters, you also don't have a dodge roll button, so evading enemies' attacks relies entirely on your movement. This can make enemies that rapid-fire bullets everywhere like the king or the duck. Wait, is that a duck or a goose? Well, whatever it is, makes them a massive threat, as it can be very easy to accidentally run into one of their shots. There is not really much else I could say about this game, mostly due to how simple it is, but if you feel like playing a short and simple shoot-'em-up featuring an anime dog, feel free to go check this one out. But with that all said, let's move on to the next game, shall we? It was a peaceful day like any other at a certain VTuber idol headquarters. The talents were going about their daily routine, having fun and getting along, until a staff member rushed in with grave news.
I come to make an announcement. Hololive is a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Holo Break is a beat-em-up featuring the members of Hololive's 5th generation of idols, who are on a mission to rescue the CEO of the Hololive Corporation, who had been kidnapped by the group who calls themselves Holo X. Before you start the game, you get to choose from 4 different characters, all with their own moves and abilities, and the aim of the game is to fight your way through waves of enemies to reach the end of the level. As you defeat enemies, you gain experience points that level you up, that not only increases your stats, but it also unlocks new abilities for your character. After you have defeated a wave of enemies, you are then rewarded with a loot box that gives you items that may help you on your run. Some of those items being stuff like weapons, power-ups, health items, and of course gear that you can equip. One of the pieces of gear that you can get is a trumpet, which makes every step you take play a trumpet noise. Ah, yes, how very useful. The game does look like it's supposed to be played with friends, but unfortunately for me, I live on fucking D-Gen unemployed hours, so all of my friends are currently asleep at the moment. With that said though, even if my friends were awake, unfortunately there is no online multiplayer, so this is more of a problem if most of your friends who are into VTubers or Hololive shit are all online friends, so Unless you can force your friends to play a VTuber game, good luck, buddy. But don't worry though, you're not completely alone if you end up soloing this game, because throughout the levels you can rescue these creatures which are supposed to be your viewers, and just like the average influencer on Twitter, you can send your viewers to happily fight your battles for you. Also, if you want, feel free to follow me on that hellscape. I post there sometimes, I guess. Once you have reached the end of the level, you will then have to do a boss battle, which once you defeat the boss, you can move on to reach a checkpoint. It is here where you can use the holo coins that you have collected throughout the game to buy items and upgrade your gear, and then after you've done that, you can sit down and relax by the campfire. I guess. Now, I don't know if it is like this when you play co-op or not, but when playing solo, there does come a point where when you reach the later levels that a lot of the enemies that you start to encounter are way stronger than you are. This, of course, leads you to getting a lot of deaths, and if all of the members in your party are taken out, you not only get sent all the way back to the start of the level, but you also lose all of your money. You do, however, keep your levels though, so what pretty much ends up happening in order to progress is that you have to keep going through the level over and over again to level up your character until they are strong enough to beat the stage. It is also later in the game where I started stocking up on health items, as the green orbs dropped by enemies and loot boxes that heal a bit of your health just don't heal you quite enough. The health items you pick up being different food items such as chips, burgers, and mayonnaise! Wow! But man, I will have to say though, the graphics in this game look really fucking good. And I also love that the pause menu straight up looks like the actual YouTube streaming layout. The game is developed by an artist named KU, who was also the lead animator for the River City Girls games, and has also helped with animations with big anime productions, such as Mushoku Tensei, Boruto, as well as the Castlevania anime. Anyway, despite the game being grindy if you are playing solo, I still had a lot of fun playing the game, though I'm sure my experience would be way better if I was able to play co-op, but unfortunately that didn't end up happening. So yeah, with that said, let's move on to the next game. The next game we have here is Age of Advent, which is a collection of 5 minigames based off of the Advent Hololive group. First game we have here is Begemmed, a game based on the VTuber Kaseki Bichu. In this game, what you do is click on gems that are matched to try and drop these Maui statues to the bottom of the screen to earn points. Dropping Maui statues not only contributes to your score, but it also raises this pickaxe up and away from this bar, which I guess the goal is to keep going as long as possible before this pickaxe mines everything up and gives you a game over. To be honest, there is not really much I can say about this one. I mean, it's basically Begemmed, let's be honest. So, I reckon we'll just move on to the next minigame. This is We Are About to Crash, a game where you take control of the Fuamoko twins, and the goal is to get them as far as possible while also collecting gems to get a high score. As you get further, hazards and enemies start showing up, which getting hit by an enemy will cause you to lose your vehicle, which not only makes you unable to double jump, but it also means that you will die if you take one more hit. You can recover your vehicle though by collecting gems, which fills out this text, which once fully filled will either recover your vehicle or revive one of the twins if one of them is lost. Now, as you can imagine, this game requires you to do a little bit of multitasking, but unfortunately, I suck at that. So what I ended up doing when the game started getting tougher was completely stop controlling one of the twins and focus on controlling only one. Sometimes, sacrifices have to be made, and unfortunately, I've decided that the blue one has to go. Goodbye. Again, just like the last game, this one is also really simple. I mean, it is fun, but there really isn't much for me to talk about. So with that said, let's move on to the next game, shall we? The next game we have here is Archival Survival, a game based on Shiori novella. In this game, you play as a farmer who tends to the 2 fields on this farm. Near the fields are a bag of seeds to plant which is located on one end of the farm, and on the other end is a water pump which we use to refill our watering can. Once the seeds are planted and watered, strange things start happening with our screen and... Dude, get the fuck fuck out of my face. Anyway, once you have started planting, these eye monsters start showing up, and the more crops that you have harvested, the more of them are spawned in. If you are close to them for too long, your screen will start to go all weird and shit, and then eventually you'll get a game over. The longer you play this game though, trying to avoid the eyes becomes harder, as now there are many eye monsters spawned in that can block pathways from you, which of course makes getting to the water pump and seeds more difficult. We do, however, have two abilities that we can use after harvesting certain types of crops. There are 3 types of crops that end up growing from the seeds that we have planted, 2 of which fills up either of these bars. The one with the eyeball when full pretty much gives us wall hacks to help us avoid the eyes, while the other one with the heart heals us when used. I actually had quite a bit of fun with this one. I liked the graphics and the creepy atmosphere, and despite being simple like the other games in the collection, this is definitely one of my favorites to play. With that said, let's move on to the next one, shall we? This is the Demon of Sound and Soup, which is based on Nerissa Ravencroft. In this game, you take control of a jailbird, which is what Nerissa calls her fans, and the gameplay is pretty much like playing Snake, except with the movement of Crypt of the Necrodancer. If you don't know how the movement works in that game, you basically move to the beat of the song, and if you move off beat or stop moving entirely, you will lose health, which is represented by these music notes. Other things that can deal damage to you is crashing into your own trail of food, or getting hit by bombs that occasionally spawn in. Pretty much the goal of the game is to collect ingredients and then bring them back to Nerissa for her soup. The more ingredients you have on your trail, the more the music picks up, as well as the higher amount of points you will gain once you bring them back to Nerissa. This was probably my favorite minigame out of the Advent collection, and I actually found myself bopping along to the beat a lot while playing. I mean, come on, it's musical Snake, and honestly, you can't go wrong with Snake. The last game we have here in the Age of Advent collection is Rideshare Rebellion, which features all of the members of the Holo Advent group. In this game, the goal is to make as much money as possible before the timer runs out by picking up passengers and then dropping them off to their destination as fast as you can. So pretty much this game is just Crazy Taxi with VTubers. Also, apparently our car is the most destructive thing known to man. Legit, this thing absolutely launches anything that dares touches it into the sky, no matter what speed it is going. Insane. This game is probably my second favorite game in the Advent collection, though my main problem with it is that each game tends to go on a bit long, as the timer goes up a certain amount each time you drop passengers to their destination. With that said, I still found the game to be really fun, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And that's it for the Age of Advent collection. In terms of my rankings for the game, the Soup game is definitely on the top. Second would be Rideshare Rebellion. In third place, Archival Survival. Begemmed would be at fourth, and my least favorite being Bow Bow to Crash. Not saying that any of these games were bad, by the way, it's just what I enjoyed the most out of this collection. So, yeah, that's that. Here we have probably the most popular VTuber game on this list, that game being Holocure Save the Fans. Holocure is a game developed by the same person who developed Holobreak, KU, and was released in 2022 on itch.io and was then released on Steam a year later. The game was a huge success, even catching the attention of Cover Corp, which in turn played a part in them creating the Holo Indie publishing brand. In this game, you can choose to play as a variety of different VTubers, all with their own weapons and different stats, and the goal is to fight off waves after waves of enemies and survive long enough to defeat the final boss. Every enemy in this game drops Hololive logos, which are experience points, and once you have collected enough experience to level up, you are given a choice to select from a random assortment of items or skills for your character. You can also get items or skills through these packages that are dropped throughout the game, and you can also upgrade those items or skills using anvils. Aside from the regular anvils, you can also find golden anvils, which are used to fuse items together, which in turn creates an even more powerful item to help you with your run. When you first start the game, the only characters that you have unlocked are the members of Holo Myth, which is Hololive's first English generation. How you unlock new characters is through the Holocure shop, where you can use the holocoins that you have accumulated throughout the game to buy upgrades for your abilities and stats, and also where you can do gacha pulls for a small price of $1,000. Doing the gacha pulls not only unlocks new characters, but they also have a chance of unlocking new outfits for those characters as well. After beating the first level of Hololive, a new game mode called Holo House will be unlocked.
And not my house!
Holo House is a life sim where you can do a variety of different things, such as decorating your house, going fishing, gardening, cooking, as well as a few other things. One thing that I found through playing the Holo House mode is that although you can get holo coins through playing the main game, I found that the fastest way to make money is through the fishing minigame, and compared to other fishing minigames out there, I think Holokia's minigame is pretty damn fun. Unlike other fishing minigames where you simply press a button to hook a fish or keep the icon at the right spot on a meter, in Holokia when you hook a fish, it pretty much plays like a rhythm game where you have to press the buttons at the right time to fill up this bar. Moving down to the south, we reach a crossroads. Going further down, we can do some woodcutting and mining, but going to the west, we can go to the casino and do some gambling and maybe make some bets. One of the things that you can do in the Holo House mode is that you can hire workers that not only get you holo coins over time, but you can also send them to the casino to either race, or you can even send them to the fight pit. Alright fellas, I've got a good feeling on Duckman over here. Big wins tonight, boys! Oh. Well. Peking duck anyone? All in all though, Holo House mode, pretty goddamn chill. Though, that is until you check out the last thing in the Holo House mode. Moving to the east, we arrive at the Tower of Suffering, which is a Jump King clone. Now, if you don't know what Jump King is, it is basically a game where you have to make precise jumps to progress your way up to the top, and oh, it is notoriously difficult. So difficult, in fact, that one single slip-up can make you lose hours of progress. Now, unlike Jump King though, the Tower of Suffering is slightly easier, as you can put down checkpoints by using 100 holo coins. The catch to this feature though is that you can only use holo coins you have collected in the Tower of Suffering, which are pretty scarce compared to the rest of the game. But anyway, Hololive, really fucking fun. I mean, even if you're not a fan of Hololive or VTubers and all that stuff, I still recommend giving the game a shot because, like, for a free game, there is quite a lot that you can do in the game. But with that said, let's move on to the final game of this video, shall we? In the year 20XX, a temporary office was built by the Hololive agency. While there were voices of joy over the completion of the office, various rumors have been circulating about the location of where the temporary office was built. Rumors such as people who approached the office disappearing one after the other, as well as sightings of 2 anomalies. It is noted that one of the objects destroyed during the construction was a rock with a talisman with the word seal on it. Okay, you guys were just asking to get cursed, what? This is Holo 8, an anomaly horror game inspired by the Exit 8 games. Here you play as a worker at the Hololive temporary office, who upon using the elevator to get to the ground floor, finds themselves stuck in a looping office space. The only way to escape is by spotting the anomalies. Now if you haven't played an anomaly game before, it is basically like playing Spot the Difference. At the start of the game you are shown how the office space is supposed to look like, and once you move on to the next floor, the game pretty much starts. After you leave the elevator and finish inspecting the area, you have a choice of going down one of either 2 elevators. How the elevators work is that if everything in the office is completely normal, you choose the blue elevator. If you spot something out of the ordinary though, you have to go through the red elevator. If you make the correct choice, you move down by 1 floor. However, if you happen to make a mistake or get a game over, you have to start all the way back at the top floor, which is floor 8. All of the anomalies in this game are of course all VTuber related, and while some of them are pretty easy to spot, some changes in the office can be a lot more subtle and also very easy to miss. Oh, and some anomalies try to kill you, so watch out for that. Look, I'm not that knowledgeable in all this anomaly bullshit, but if you see an anomaly, just hit him with one of these. Aside from the main game mode, which is the anomaly mode, we also have the everyday mode where there are no jump scares or game overs, and is more of seeing an inside look of the Hololive office. It's fucking weird in here. Trying to discover all the anomalies in this game was really fun, and although this is a horror game, it's not really that scary and more of just a game of discovering weird shit. One thing that I've noticed about the anomaly mode though after playing for a while is that once you have filled out a majority of the anomaly list, the game starts becoming a little more difficult, as the game starts to try and show you mostly anomalies that you haven't seen yet. Those anomalies most likely being the ones more subtle and much more harder to spot. But no matter how difficult it may be, and even if I get stuck here trying, I've now made it my mission to find every anomaly in the game. Let's do this. What the fuck? Why am I in Silent Hill? And there it is. I have found every single anomaly in the game. I can finally check out my reward. I open the extras menu, I select memory, and... well, this is definitely something. But anyway guys, thank you all for watching the video. If there were any VTuber games that I haven't played in this video that you want me to check out in the future, feel free to leave me a comment below and maybe I'll make a second one of these videos, who knows. But with that said, thank you all for watching the video. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.